If you feel there wasn't enough action in the first half of Sword Art Online 2, then you need to check out this week's episode, because it pretty much makes up for all of that. This week's episode was just a 20-minute action scene featuring all of the main stars of Sword Art Online. With Sinon in tow and even another brand new character by the name of Freya, this week's episode was really exciting. I really dug it. And I also loved that scene at the beginning of the episode where Yui is explaining all about how this big cataclysmic event is getting ready to take place and how the actual cardinal system is able to create its quests. And I loved the imagery they used for this, because first it started out with normal history pictures, then it was the sword and the stone, and then suddenly it's the creepy girl from the ring climbing out of a well, and then the last shot is Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th erupting out of the lake and getting ready to kill that girl, just like in the original ending of Friday the 13th. I'm a huge fan of that series, and I just loved seeing that. Although the nerdiness in me could not help but think, well, he technically didn't have the hockey mask in the first one, but I don't care. Just to get that reference alone really got me excited for this week's episode. And then right after that, it's just a big badass action scene where the whole group is fighting against this massive Minotaur. And it's great because Kirito is using his fire and ice blades, and I love the effects of the ice sword, especially that one move where he stabs the Minotaur in the stomach and then just rips it out completely, and then just this huge chunk of ice just explodes from the Minotaur's body. It's really impressive. But Kirito isn't the only one who gets to show off. Every member of the group gets to do something awesome. Klein with his samurai skills, Silica, who is surprisingly fast and looks like a badass martial artist, Leafa and her magic, Asuna is really awesome at the very end, and I can't forget Liz, and I cannot forget Sinon. Sinon was great this week, and I love that she's like the most realistic member of the group when they're talking about how this cataclysmic Ragnarok event is going to go down. She's like, couldn't we just, you know, restore the system and all that jazz, or maybe just play another game like Super Mario Brothers? Even after the Minotaur scene, there's another great scene where they're teaming up on this weird, creepy, like, snake-like creature, and they just completely dominate it. However, they're about to go into the boss room. The boss is King Thrime, the ice giant. And right before they go in there, there's a really funny scene where they discover this girl, this little elf girl, who is locked in this ice cage, and Klein, being the man that he is, decides he has to free her, even though he clearly knows he should be following Admiral Akbar's advice. But it actually seems like she's going to be really useful to the group, because one, she actually boosts all of their HP and all of their abilities, which is awesome, because they're getting ready to go into this crazy battle against King Thrime. The scene is also funny if you're a fan of One Piece, because Klein's voice actor in Sword Art Online is also the same voice actor who voices Sanji, who's very known for being like a very chivalrous person and always wanting to help a lady in need, especially young busty ones. And the scene is great mostly just for the reactions he's getting from the other teammates. They're just like, is he really doing this? Like, are we really going to be taking this seriously? I mean, we might as well. We've been taking everything else so seriously. The episode ends ominously when they finally walk into the king's room, which is covered with piles of gold, and it actually reminds me of Smaug from The Hobbit, like the build-up to actually seeing him. And when he finally walks out, he's getting ready to go down and fight all of them. He explains that Freya was actually like sneaking around in his castle trying to look for his secret treasure of some sorts, and he also claims that Freya came there to marry him. There's a lot of stuff in this episode that is hinted to be related to Norse mythology, and I'm not really, like, the authority on that at all. I appreciate it, I just don't know too much about all that stuff. You know, my knowledge of Norse mythology goes Thor, and the only reason I know about Thor is because of the frickin' Avengers and Marvel Comics. Otherwise, I really love this episode, so what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2, it kicked a lot of ass. It was a lot of fun. It was a very simple episode, but this was the episode that I think we needed. This was after the deathly serious Phantom Bullet arc, which had very little action scenes in them. When they were there, though, they were really satisfying, but we didn't have any of those, like, big, traditional monster battles that we had from Sword Art Online, and that's what this part of the season is for. And I've been told that this arc is going to be much shorter, and I'm okay with that. I actually wouldn't even mind another one like this as long as it sort of keeps the tone. However, I would like a little more, like, danger aspect to this. I mean, there really isn't too much repercussions. If they lose, they can't really play the game anymore. Let's move on to something else. But it's still really exciting, and it's just great to see all of them interacting with each other again. It's been the first time really since the end of the first season of the entire anime series that we've really seen them like in this kind of environment, because as soon as the second season began, it immediately went into the whole Death Gun story arc. And I would like Sinone to have a little more dialogue, especially because she is the new character, and most of what she does this week is just sort of be the voice of reason and fire her arrows like a badass. Especially that one scene where she shot the Minotaur right in the freaking head, and all of that ice just exploded on the ground. That's the type of stuff I love, and this week's episode was filled to the brim with it. Watch it for that action scene at the beginning, and try to get excited for the big battle with King Thrime, the Ice King. Not to be confused with the one from Adventure Time. So I'm giving this week's episode a 4 out of 5. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty damned exciting. So check it out, fans of Sword Art Online. Thank you for watching my review. If you liked this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. And before you guys leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2. Did you have any favorite action scenes this week? Did you have a favorite character who had a standout moment? What do you want to see from the finale of this arc in the finale of the second season of Sword Art Online? Before you guys leave, please subscribe to our channel if you have not already. That way you can check out all of our latest anime and manga reviews. You can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here. You guys can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.